Hello everybody. I don't know why, but I want to make videos now and kind of give a little bit of a play-by-play of the things I go through. After I made that video about how Ibogaine might help with targeting, of course that night they tried doing some stuff as if to say, ha, we'll show you. And I should have figured, I should have known. But it wasn't as intense. And then last night, I had arguably one of the most aggressive beings on me. Really aggressive, like probably one of the most aggressive, if not the most aggressive being. And it's one that I really haven't experienced yet. I've had so many experiences with different kinds of things that it's like I got like a catalog of, what they feel like at different times. What I felt 2 nights ago after making that video was very different than what I felt last night, man. It's almost like they went and picked some being that's like really, really good at targeting people, can really put the fear into people, or can really dissuade people or something. Because this was unlike anything I've felt before, and it was uncomfortable. Of course, it was uncomfortable. It's weird when you're laying there and you're just so damn tired, and this thing it won't even let you sleep. The second I start to even drift into sleep, this presence is already there, and it's already trying to be really disturbing. But I'm too tired to deal with it. I'm just too tired. I just start nodding off. But you always get like shocked out of the sleep because of the presence. And you're like, so, that kind of thing can happen, especially when they're being really aggressive like that. So I realized, okay, I have to stay up. I tried praying, didn't really work. I tried visualizing a shield around me as much as I could, even though I was dead tired. It didn't really work. I was trying to even say out loud, there was a shield around me, and really focus on that. That has worked before when I've done that. It worked really good one night, and then the next night it didn't work really well, almost at all. So, I try a lot of things, but last night I was trying a lot of things. Because I was so damn tired, but this sucker just wouldn't give up, and it wasn't really working. So it was I'm like, okay, you're not going to stop. You want to have a staring contest? Let's have a staring contest. So I just set my mind on it. If it's not going to let me sleep, and it's going to be constantly focusing on me very intensely, trying to, worm into my mind and trying to penetrate my mind and have give me this disturbing feeling, then I'm not going to try to block it or ignore it, because it'll just keep knocking me out of sleep. So if you're going to stare at me, I'm going to stare at you. So here you are. How you doing? And when I set my mind in that way, that actually kind of created a shield, a very interesting shield as well. Even though I was locked on this being and focused on them, it created a kind of shield. Their influence actually became less disturbing. It was more just like me and them, and I'm just focusing. And I'm not being frightened by it. I'm more just perturbed, And I could tell it was a very different kind of being. It actually, oddly enough, it felt like a female. There was something about it that felt like a female. Something about its eyes. Just something about it. Because I'm not saying anything about females, but it was really intense, man. The amount of dissuasion it was placing on me. and the amount of focus. There was something about it that was like it was coming from a female. The way it was focusing, I can't describe it, but I'm just like, okay, so if we're going to have a kind of a psychic staring contest, I'll just stare at you. So, and I've done that before with beings that were that aggressive. Not all beings are that aggressive. Even beings I've noticed that try to be aggressive, they're not quite that aggressive, because I've experienced different levels of aggression. Sometimes it can be, pretty aggressive and all that. Sometimes I can tell they're really angry, or if I post something or I say something. But they're not all quite that aggressive. This being is in the league of like maybe one other being I've experienced that was actually very, very aggressive. Very determined, just like you're just trying to really drill. It's almost like maybe it's their specialty. Like this is their specialty. This is something they're good at, just drilling into fucking people. And what helped me with the other being that was like that, and with this being, is like, okay, if you're not going to give up, then I'm not going to give up. You want to fucking just focus on me, I'm just going to focus on you then. So look at you. Aren't you the evil one? You got quite the arsenal here, don't you? I'm not, and I wasn't like saying this to it. It's just the impression I'm getting. And if it's going to do all this stuff to me, then I'm going to assess it. And I'm just like thinking about the being, getting a good outline of its features, its mentality, letting it know that I'm not afraid of it. Just through my presence. It's not like I'm trying to think these things. This is just something coming out with my presence, because I'm engaged in it now. Nothing else will make it go away, so I'll just engage it. I wasn't trying to share thoughts with it, and I wasn't trying to submit to it or, give up or anything. I'm just like focused. And like I said, that actually did create a kind of shield just in doing that. It became much less disturbing. It was much less of a problem. And the interesting thing is that I actually got to sleep without getting knocked out of my sleep. And my dreams were actually in alignment with what was taking place. So this being could focus on me very intensely, trying to be very negative. But the fact that I was just kind of accepted it was like, well, he's not going to go anywhere, so I'll just, I'll put you in my sights as well. That actually helped me sleep. And I even had dreams where, before I fell asleep, it was like we're in a staring contest, and I'm just like, okay, here you are. This is what you're doing. And I can really get a sense of just these beings, man. They're just so different. They're so different. They don't have what we have. They don't have a spirituality at all. They don't really have emotions. Not really. They're so fixated on their objectives and their goals and just their training and what it is they do. They just want to have access to this world and do anything possible to do that. All the manipulation, everything they do. And trying to threaten people like me into silence that are more outspoken. That's probably why I get focused on so much. That's the only reason I can think of as to why they mess with me so much. But when I finally went to sleep, I had dreams that I was like being attacked by feral cats, and they would always, feral cats, when they're really pissed off, boy, man, they can tear you up. And it was like these feral cats that were like staring at me with these kind of feminine eyes, the same kind of eyes this being was giving me the impression of, that made me feel like there was, even though it was kind of a decrepit being and very negative and very, aggressive, there was a female quality to it. And when I went to sleep, there were like these cats with these feminine eyes, very feral, angry cats, and they would try to attack me. Sometimes they would just grab my arm and start scratching like crazy and biting my arm. But I made sure to not lose eye contact with them, because it was sort of, and that actually helped me just keep going with the dream. Like, no matter how bad it gets, like, yeah, they're aggressive, yeah, they're nasty, but they're not going to kill me. And, you know, they just kept coming and coming, and sometimes they would attack me and scratch me and bite me. But I would always make sure I'm not like fighting them and, you know, trying to step on them and stuff. I'm just more like standing my ground in terms of, you're going to stare at me, I'm going to stare at you. Yeah, you're a really pissed off kitty, aren't you? But it's good to like just be able to sleep and to be able to dream, even if the dreams are like that. It felt good to just be able to sleep finally. And that dream went on for a while. You know, just these pissed off, angry cats that are trying to attack me and trying to threaten me with their presence and getting really close and all that. And the feeling I was getting from this being, even before I fell asleep, it was so like, just so dark, like pretty dark, man. And I even thought like, boy, you've probably carved up some people in your time, haven't you? I mean, you seem like the kind of being that has no fucking problem doing any kind of nasty business. I mean, I don't think very much of the intervention does. They're probably do, you know, with the abductions they do and the experiments they do, they're like mad scientists. They don't give a shit about anything. Like mad scientists that are doing experiments on rabbits and shit. You think they give a fuck about the rabbit? They don't care about the rabbit's feelings, its pain, its soul, its heart, its nature, nothing. All they care about is jabbing it and doing weird stuff to it, you know. And that's, you know, these beings are kind of like that. And this one was just like, it doesn't want to get to know me. It doesn't give a fuck about me. All it wants me to do is shut the hell up, be frightened, be threatened, you know. And it was just, they're kind of like a monotone of threat that just never stops for hours and hours. Just, you can imagine what that feels like. But usually when the sun comes up, they stop. I don't know why, but when the sun comes up, they stop. And I went to bed late. I think I went to bed late for a reason, because I just didn't feel like going to bed early. And, you know, I went to bed at like 3 or 4 a.m. And after laying there for like a half hour, that's when this being just really came in full throttle. And I was just like, goodness, I'm glad the sun's coming up in a few hours, because this is ridiculous. And even talking about it now, I can tell that, you know, they're probably listening. They I don't know how they do, but they know when I upload videos. That's obvious. They know when I post things. They're obviously paying attention. So even me just talking about it now, I can tell there's this, it's like sort of like way far in the background, but I can tell there's this, that's kind of like how you can think about their emotional state, if you want to call it that. It's a monotone of aggression. It's just got like a predatory monotone. When they get closer and they get more upset, it's just, you know, it's just very, they're alive, they're living beings, they have a heartbeat, their blood is flowing, but they're on such a, dude, you cannot imagine. It's really fucking weird that these beings actually exist. Yeah, they have a life force. Yes, their blood is pumping. Yes, they have a body, but man, it's fucking bizarre. it's just bizarre that these beings actually exist, man. It's really fucked up.